Hello and welcome. My name is Josh Clark, and today we're going to discover the 4-step inviting formula. Now, I'm very excited about sharing this with you because I don't know about you, but when I started out, I really struggled with how to invite people to take a look at our products and the business. In fact, I dreaded it. And I felt like every time I talked to people, they just kind of pat me on the head and be like, oh, you're going to be a good little sales boy one day. And I go, oh, I just hated it because it's nothing wrong with being a salesperson, but I wanted them to see that I genuinely cared about them and that I believed in these products because after all, they'd had a tremendous impact on my family's health, starting with my mother. And so it wasn't, thankfully I kept, even though I did a terrible job at inviting, and I think I, broke every rule in the book. In fact, I'm glad there wasn't a video around of me inviting because it would be absolutely embarrassing. But because I kept on doing it, if you do things long enough, you'll eventually have some success. And so I was invited to go to a trip to leadership school. And I remember it was on the way back that I had this breakthrough moment. Have you ever had one of them where all of a sudden you see the problem, you see clearly the solution? And I realized that, as a person, I genuinely care about people. Now, I was scared to talk to people. It was like I'd be on a high dive, believe it or not. Yes, even me. I'd be on a high dive and it'd be like, yes, I will, no, I won't. Talk to this person, yes, I will, no, I won't. And then eventually I would just face my fear and I'd say, I'm gonna do the opposite of what I feel like doing, and I would talk to them. But on that plane, I realized, Josh, if you'll stop just trying to sell them something and instead just connect with them, just enjoy getting to know them, making a friend, and if in the process you discover a need, great. Then you can share NeoLife. But if you don't, just make a friend. And so with that, my business turned around. I started having fun. In fact, I started becoming very good at inviting. In fact, I would win a lot of the recruiting contests. But it wasn't until a couple years ago that my mother, she challenged me. She said, Josh, we need to teach an inviting formula. She said because she and Dad had built a large, successful business, but she had struggled all those years with inviting people. She was good at following up and taking care of customers once they came on board, and distributors, but she struggled with inviting. And so we worked together and we came up with a 4-step inviting formula. And let me share it with you because I think it'll be a breakthrough moment for you as well. Step 1 is connect. And when I connect, I like to think about the acronym FOR, which is family, occupation, and recreation. So introduce yourself and then ask questions to discover the answers to those to 4. And then, in the process, oftentimes you'll discover a need in their life. Maybe it's, a health challenge. Maybe it's that they want to prevent a health crisis down the road. Maybe it's their job, they don't like it, or maybe they love their job, but they want to make extra income or have a plan B, or, it could be any myriad of challenges or pains in their life. And once you discover that, then you can offer a solution. And that's when you invite them to discover the solution. It could be a video, a sample, invite them to a meeting. And then the 4th step is follow up. Now, I'm going to walk through these 4 steps very quickly in a scenario that played out not that long ago with me. So my wife and I, we were at a baseball game. It was late at night when the game ended. My wife was talking with a friend, and I saw this guy leaning up against the light pole. And I thought, Josh, you ought to go over there and say hello. But everything in me said, no, it's late, you're tired. But I've learned, thankfully, through this business, to step beyond my comfort zone and to make friends. And so I went over there and said hello, not even thinking about bringing him, selling him anything. But in the process of saying hello, I said, how are you? He said, oh, it's been a long day. And I said, really? Tell me about it. He said, well, I got terrible allergies and, I flared up today. And I said, really? How long have you dealt with this? And he told me for many years. And in fact, that day he had to excuse himself from a board meeting. And, he was fortunate to even be at the game, but it was his friend that was playing. And so, one of the things though I've learned is when you discover the problem, the pain in their life, if you have time, now sometimes you have to go ahead and offer the solution right away and invite them to discover the solution. But if you have time, tap that pain funnel. And what I mean is ask questions about that pain in their life. Say, really, how long have you dealt with that? Tell me more. And a couple of things happens. One, people love to talk about their problems, and they appreciate it when somebody genuinely cares. 2, it helps you discover by listening how to best address that problem, that pain point that need in their life. And then 3rd, once they've talked about that pain for a while, let me tell you, they're much more likely to be open to a solution. In fact, wouldn't it sound crazy if after talking about that pain, they said, no, I don't want to learn more about a solution. So in the process, I asked him, I said, have you ever tried a natural solution? And he said, no, why? Do you know of anything? Now, of course, then, it was easy. But if he hadn't asked that, then I would have said, if I knew of a solution, if I knew of something that might help you, would you be interested in learning more? To which I'm sure he would have said yes. And then I would have said, great. If I were to share a sample with you, if I were to share this video link with you, will you watch it and let me know what you like best? And then the fourth step is follow up. So now in a separate video, I'll share with you the triple opt-in. Now the triple opt-in will help take your follow-up and instead of having 5-10% success rate, help you have oftentimes as high as approximately 80% success rate by simply applying the triple opt-in. So be sure to watch that. And then we'll talk more about follow-up also in a separate training. But let me just say this. No matter how good you do at connecting, discovering the need, and inviting them, if you don't follow up, it's all for naught. In fact, as my mother says, you're doing them a disservice because you discovered the need, and you offered a solution. They were interested. Now it's your job to follow up. In fact, the National Sales Executive Association says that only 5% of sales are made on the third contact, and 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact, and 80% of sales are made between the 5th and the 12th. So get out there. Here's my challenge. Invite. Get out there and do the 4-step inviting formula and then follow up. And I can't wait to celebrate your success.